Hi everyone! It's finally happened. Daredevil Born Again has finally been released. It's been quite a road to get here, hasn't it? First we had the amazing Netflix show which got cancelled after season 3, which was my personal favourite season of those Netflix shows. And then Disney picked it up. They were going to make a show out of it, and they were going to make it just kind of like a courtroom drama. It was going to have 18 episodes originally. Karen and Foggy were going to be killed off screen. They were going to recast Vanessa, the Kingpin's love interest. And the only two returning cast members from what I can remember is just Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio as Daredevil and Kingpin. But aside from those two, they were going to basically wipe the board clean and just introduce brand new characters. But after shooting about 9 episodes, like, yeah, seriously, 9 episodes, that's practically like a whole season of a Daredevil show, which usually consists of 13 episodes. It was around the 9th episode when they were shooting it, they were like, this isn't going to work, so let's cancel it and let's start again. Let's reshoot the whole thing and then splice in some of the footage from those original 9 episodes that they shot. So, I don't know, this could be a Frankenstein monster of a project, we don't know, so yeah, let's give this a look. I have no idea what I'm going to think of it. I'm hoping it's really good. Okay, here we go. It's got a different vibe. That's the Marvel Television logo. I don't think we've seen that from the MCU before, unless I'm mistaken. We saw them shooting this. Finally, great to see the three of these three back together again.
Dated?
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't remember Matt's hearing being this powerful. Yeah. Oh, that CGI was terrible. Costume don't look as good either. Oh my god, this looks like a video game. That was terrible. Why does this look fake? It doesn't look right. That action scene on paper was cool, but there's so much motion blur and it just seemed fake. Nice. Oh, we're getting a new intro. I can't imagine the actor playing Foggy. I can't imagine him being happy that he got killed off right at the beginning, before the titles even got going. I will say the cinematography is better in here than it is on any of the recent MCU shows. At least going by this first episode so far.
$73 million that will be distributed to you today through the customary wire transfer.
And that's a green screen. It's a bit obvious, the production stuff here.
You are hereby sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Yeah, doesn't get the death penalty. That's what he would have deserved.
Take care of yourself, man.
This is not their way of writing Karen out of the show, is it? Because if it is, I can see right through you, Disney. You're not... It's like they're trying to go back to their original plans when they did the 18 episodes, but they're trying to phase them out rather than just kill them off at the very beginning. Except for Foggy.
Where did you find him, Sheila?
He canvassed.
Yeah, he is a weird one, isn't he?
He was cheap, sir.
Cheap. Kind of like the look of this show at times.
The lawyer from the kitchen's got good taste in sandwiches.
They're clearly trying to set up a new love interest with her, aren't they? They're not making it subtle with this violin music right here.
A little something, something, if you know what I mean. So does she.
No, I don't know what you mean, and it was a disaster.
Do you know what I bet you? I bet you this is part of the original 18 episodes that they shot. It's... Matt's attitude here is very different to his attitude that this story is setting up.
Murdock. No, I wasn't asking you to.
Why is he being so kind? Matt Murdock would be direct with him.
New Yorkers, Wilson Fisk has been elected the 112th mayor of New York City.
He won.
That was quick. Just in the first episode. Well, let's see if there's a credit scene. If there is, I'll talk about that. If not, then we'll just sum up this episode.
2 very boring minutes later.
Okay, so the episode is over. And I think it was okay. Now, I'll tell you why I think it was okay. First of all, I want to talk about the production. I think the production of this show is really good at times, but then there's times where it's just okay, and then there's times where it's just bad, and then there's times where it's just fan film. Like, there were certain shots where I was saying as I was watching, I was like, this looks like a fan film, or this shot looks like it's different, or this shot looks like it's from what they originally shot, because they said what they originally shot and what they scrapped, they were going to try to work and weave it in to what they reshoot. So it feels like it's just a mishmash. You can tell this has been reshot and they've basically spliced together their old footage from what they scrapped and their new footage together. I'd say this first episode was incredibly inconsistent. And Matt as a character, what he went through at the beginning, losing Foggy, and how that made him depressed, you don't quite see it. You see it at times, but then there are times where he's like with that in that law firm where he's with that black woman who's now his partner, his lawyer partner. It's like he's very chipper when he's talking to her. Almost like this is the law and order part of the show from what they originally shot. But then when he's with Karen and stuff, it's like, okay, now he's more depressed. And then even when he's talking to Kingpin, it's like he's more serious, but then he's very loose and laughing with Kingpin a little, and it's like he hasn't got a grasp over Matt Murdock. If you watch the original 3 seasons of the Netflix show, even The Defenders, Matt Murdock is very consistent as a character through those. But in this, he's not. He's kind of going all over the spectrum. Sometimes he's like very closed off, and then he's very, very open, then he's in the middle of the road. Even when talking to Kingpin in the diner, he's like very inconsistent in the way that he's acting. It's like he's very serious with him, but then he's loose and he's smiling. I thought he's smiling too much with Kingpin. An intimidating smile or an overly confident smile is one thing, but it almost felt like they were best friends, how he was like just talking to him. I was like, come on, this is a bit too, playing it too loose. Matt Murdock, he usually knows what he's feeling, and that is projected in his facial expressions, is projected in his tone of voice, is projected in just the way he presents himself. Matt Murdock, you always know how he's feeling. Here, it felt like he was all over the place, and it felt like the episode lacked direction. So that's one thing that I realized. The other thing, which I actually surprisingly liked, Foggy's death was very effective, I thought. The music, the way they had him act, the way Karen was acting, they did a great job with that. We'll talk about the action scene in a minute. And the way it transitions from Matt dropping his helmet to, well, his mask, to then going into the new opening credits. I thought the new opening credits were actually cool, and the depressing music really fit what we just saw. Now, I liked that, but the problem is everything that came afterwards. When it said 1 year later and we were with Matt, I was like, okay, this is a good follow-up. Him in court, a good follow-up. Everything else in this episode just feels like it doesn't even relate to that, like it's not even acknowledging that opening. It just feels very off. It doesn't quite feel right. It doesn't quite feel like when we see Matt going around in the city and talking to Kingpin and stuff, it doesn't quite feel like this is the same character that just went through that huge loss. It's like he should still be going through the phases and going through the negative emotions of that loss. But like I said, it's very inconsistent. And that opening, I liked it at first, but watching it now, when you see the rest of just this episode, it feels like that opening was just an excuse to get rid of Foggy, because they also got rid of Karen. How her and Matt are no longer an item, they're no longer a couple, and then she's like, take care of yourself, and she goes. I did not like that. To me, this just felt like Marvel always wanted to get rid of Karen and Foggy, like they originally wanted to when they were doing this show, and now they actually managed to get rid of them. That's what it feels like. It feels like even though they reshot this show, it feels like the goal that they had was still to get rid of those two, and rather than just completely not show them, they just gave them a little, 5-minute scene overall, and then that's it. Now they're gone. Now, who knows? Karen probably could come back later. And there's already rumors right now that they are shooting season 2, and that in flashbacks, Foggy could potentially come back. We'll see. But I don't like what they've done to Karen and Foggy. This feels like they've still just tried to get rid of them, and I'll tell you why this is a very bad thing. Because when Wilson Fisk was elected as mayor, I was like, oh, like, it had an impact on me, it had an impact on Matt. But then the impact just died out, and the reason why is because when, in the original Daredevil show, it was a huge impact when this stuff would happen because all the characters would react. Matt would react, Karen would react, and also Foggy would react. But now that those two are gone, the only good familiar character we have is Matt, and this new woman that he's dating, and that other woman who's now his partner at the law firm. It's like we don't have Murdock, Nelson, and Page, that law firm of theirs anymore, which is a shame, because Season 3 ended it, and we wanted to see what that law firm looked like. But no, we don't get to see that. They just kill off Foggy at the beginning, Karen is now gone, now we've got our new characters. It feels like they've just phased them out, which is what their plan was the whole time. And I gotta say, guys, when Kingpin was elected as mayor, and the impact was just very mute, very, like, nothing overall, it kind of made me say, you know what? I don't want to watch the rest of this show. And I don't. 2 episodes came out, and I felt like, without Karen and Foggy, I don't really care anymore. Like, this should not be a 9-episode show without those two. If it's just Matt, this should be like a 5-6 episode season. The fact it's 9 and we're gonna get a season 2, and now they've brought all these new characters in, including that character that saw Matt take his mask off. That I did not recognize that character, so I don't think he was in the Netflix show, but it felt like they were forcing in other characters to take over from Karen and Foggy. And it's just kind of depressing when you're watching this. I don't care to see Matt with that other woman that set him up on a date. I don't care to see him have this new love interest, which they're really fast-tracking. It's just all forced. And without Foggy and Karen there to react when all this stuff is going down, I just don't find myself caring. I really don't. So yes, what they've done here by trying to, like, essentially get rid of the old characters and bring in their new characters, that is a show, that is like a deal breaker to me. That is a show killing aspect to me. And it's enough to make me say, no, I'm not watching. Because when Kingpin was, if you watch season 3, when he was released from prison, Matt reacted, Foggy reacted, Karen reacted, her boss reacted, everyone had a reaction. It was like, oh shit. But now there was no reaction, and to me, that kind of just sums up how I feel about this show overall. So I think, at the beginning, if they really leaned into it, killing Foggy was actually kind of cool of an idea, but I think they've just squandered that in with this first episode. So yeah, I did not like that, and that pretty much is that is the killer for me. That I'm almost considering, should I even watch the rest of these episodes, and if I should even react to them for you guys like this. So yeah, that's a huge deal breaker for me. Then we get to the action. Now, I think the action in this, you can tell it's shot very differently, and you can tell they did not have enough time. That whole opening sequence, on paper, I like the idea, but it wasn't immersive. If anything, it kind of felt more like the Godzilla action sequences from the 2014 Godzilla, where you would see like the outside of the action, but you would not really be close to the action. You'd be very much seeing it from the outside, and you're focusing on all the characters and the civilians that just happen to be there as the action scene is going down. That's what it felt like, and I felt like that wasn't an immersive action sequence. Plus, it was filled with so much, like, CGI fog. It was also filled, CGI smoke. It was also filled with obvious CGI doubles for Bullseye and Daredevil. You can tell this is part of the reshoots, because it's like, you can tell they did not have enough time to have the actors actually choreograph this scene, so they had the CG doubles do it. And I don't know if it was just my monitor, but I saw like motion blur going on. It was a mess. It didn't look good. I like the idea of it being another one shot, but it was not a good one. Out of all the hallway sequences, that was by far the worst one. It needed more time to be ready, and it just wasn't. And Matt, when he was traversing off the rooftops, it looked like a PlayStation 2 game. Like, genuinely, it looked like something from the 2007 TMNT animated movie, mixed with a touch of Incredible Hulk from 2008. That was a terrible sequence that they put together. So yeah, the action sequence, we only just really saw that one action sequence, and I didn't even realize that Bullseye was throwing all these knives into Daredevil. Not until we saw him on the stairs and we see all those knives on him. I was like, again, you should be showing us this. So I don't like that. Plus, it seems very random. I hope that connects in a big way with the plot later. Maybe Kingpin orders him to do it, but why would Bullseye listen to Kingpin after what Kingpin did to him in season 3? It just seems like I have questions. We need to see if they actually do something with it with the writing later. But right now, Foggy's death just feels like it was just a way to get rid of him. It could have really played into this whole episode. Like if you watch season 3 episode 1 where Matt survives the crash at the end of the Defenders, he ends up, it's like that for that whole season he's basically distraught over it, especially in the first 2 episodes. But here, like I said, his emotions are all over the place. It's inconsistent, poor direction, and you can just tell that they've just put all the episodes together from their previous stuff that they've scrapped and the reshoots. It just doesn't go together well. Very inconsistent, very sloppy. So, yes, and I did like the acting as well from Kingpin. I liked the acting from Matt. Again, when he was crying on the rooftop at the beginning, I felt that. That was very impactful. Even Karen, she was a phenomenal the way she was crying over Foggy that way. You could feel the panic in her. She did such a good job. Everything after that, guys, I gotta say, it feels like you can tell Disney came in and they're trying to mimic the original Daredevil show, but it's just not working for me, and the pacing of that episode, I think they really could have cut it down. If all of this show was basically Matt, Kingpin, Vanessa, and Karen and Foggy, which it's not anymore, but if they just cut to those 3, I would be fine. But now what it is, it's all these new characters, and I can't be bothered going through new characters. They just seem like stock, like generic characters. And they don't seem like they don't hold a candle to Karen and Foggy, basically. So yeah, guys, I thought this was an absolute mess in terms of the way it was put together, and I don't want to watch the rest of the episodes. I feel kind of depressed. I actually do feel a little sad, you know? Like, Daredevil season 3 is like my favorite season of superhero television. It's like right up there, and this doesn't feel consistent. It doesn't feel authentic. Like, if you watched The Penguin recently, The Penguin felt very authentic to the Matt Reeves' The Batman movie, and the Batman world, and the Batman characters that he had set up. Like, when you see Kenzie show up again, and when you see the Penguin, and then when you see all these other characters, it feels very consistent. Even Carmine Falcone felt very consistent, and he was played by a different actor. But this does not feel authentic. You can tell it's less experienced hands have come in to take over this show. And even the writing, again on paper, like the diner scene is very good. But it just doesn't feel like it's got that sharp pensmanship that the Netflix versions had, because the writing for those shows was like peak. It was impeccably written. That's not the case here with Daredevil, what they've done. So I am very, very disappointed. In terms of what I wanted to give this episode a 9 or a 10 in order for me to be happy. Or even a very high 8. But honestly, the more I think about it, the less I like this episode. And maybe it can get better when I watch the later ones, but if anything, I'm seeing all the warning signs and the red flags right now with this first episode. So yeah, I feel like my score can actually go down even more the more I think about it, but right now, the episode was kind of like getting a 7 out of 10 from me at first as it was going on, but the more and more I think about it, I gotta say, guys, I think I'm gonna give this episode a 6. I thought it was just above average. This feels more like a fan version of the original Netflix version. The Netflix version was made with such experience, such masterclass in editing, writing, directing, acting, everything. This feels like it's trying to mimic that, but it doesn't truly know how to be that. So, those are my thoughts on the first episode. I'm gonna think about it if I watch the rest, because really, I have zero passion for this. I just want to go back and watch Season 3. Heck, I might go back and see Season 1. I just don't want to... I don't want to watch this, really. This doesn't feel right to me, so... Yeah, who knows? We'll see what happens. If you guys want to see more of my reactions to this, then you have to really let me know in the comments, because as is, I'm thinking of just reacting to this first episode, then just cutting the rest off. Like, maybe I'll review the season when it's over. As of right now, I'm just kind of... Yeah, I'm kind of done, guys. I just don't want to do this. Like, I actually do want to jump off this ship right now. So, yeah. Be sure to let me know what you think I should do, if I should continue, if you want to see me continue, or I should just stop right here, because I'm kind of already... I've seen the first episode, I gave it a chance, and I'm just kind of done. So yeah, what did you guys think? Did you like this episode? Do you see the problems that I see, like how they're trying to phase Karen and Foggy out? Because that's a huge deal to me. And how they're trying to replace them with these new characters. And Karen saying like bye to Matt, that just to me felt like TV writing. A TV writing way of trying to write a character out. That's what it felt like. So yeah, be sure to let me know what you thought. Thank you very much for watching, and give your score in the comments below, and let me know what you thought of this first episode. So thank you very much for watching, everyone, and thank you for supporting me on Patreon. I really do appreciate it. And I'll catch all of you very soon. Take care.